everybody? So today I wanted to do a little sit down video where it's not like a vlog or anything, but it's kind of gonna be like, well, I hope it's gonna be like a little bit of motivation for anybody who's feeling down, because I have suffered through depression and anxiety and dissociation, all these things for all these years. I think this year solidifies my healing journey, like how hard I worked for everything and how it finally paid off. Because honestly, we'll get into it, but I have been feeling the most at peace and happiest I've ever been in a while, period. Okay, and it took a long time to get there. So I've been there before. You know, I felt down, I felt sad, I've cried. There were years where I cried every single day, whether people knew it or not. There were days where I was so like out of it, plenty fucking days, and I wasn't myself anymore. I just wanted to help somebody out with my story, because I just wanted to show you guys that the healing process is painful, it's hard, it's excruciating sometimes, but in the end it's worth it. And you can't make it anywhere without targeting and addressing some of the things that you've been through. Okay, so you don't just randomly wake up one day feeling better, but you do wake up one day and being like, oh, I had a better day than yesterday, or I'm feeling better than I did yesterday. And eventually those days accumulate, and then you find that you're having more good days than bad, because you cannot just live a perfect life. Not every day is gonna be a happy, amazing day. No matter how hard you try, you can't have a perfect life, but you could change your mindset in a way where nothing could affect you as much. Because to be real, things still happen in my life. First of all, I'm a college student. You can already tell how stressed I am. The thing that changed is I don't let things consume me, eat me up, and leave no crumbs. Let's get into that. So the healing journey. Okay, obviously a lot of us, we go through like childhood trauma, we go through our adolescence, our teen years, where it's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm struggling with who I am, I'm going through mental health issues, I barely know about mental health, I don't know how to help myself, I don't know how to have the want to live. And I think that it's safe to say that a lot of us have these thoughts, because life does not give you answers, and that's where it's kind of like, okay, now I'm feeling a little bit lost. And when we feel lost, we don't feel our best. On top of that, with just outside factors, things that just keep happening to you, whether it's a chain of events, a domino effect of a decision you made or a decision someone else made that affected your life. We all go through shit at the end of the day. Let's just talk about it. I wrote down some notes. It's because I really want to talk about this in depth. It's about getting vulnerable at the end of the day. People are like, oh my gosh, I don't like to get vulnerable. Get vulnerable with yourself at least. At least do that. You don't have to sit on a camera and tell people your problems like I am right now. But it helps even to talk to somebody you're comfortable with. If you have nobody to feel comfortable with, you have yourself. And people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so lonely. Like, you know how much power you hold? A lot of us can't take in how much power we have because we're so depressed, we're feeling so sad, but you hold so much power, and you yourself, you can help yourself heal. Let's just get into this. So I've suffered through a lot of problems ever since I was a young child. We're not gonna get into the things I went through, just more so how I solved these issues for me and how I felt in those moments. Okay, I'm gonna start at 2019. Even though I was suffering way before that, we're gonna start at 2019. The length of this video will be really long if I sit here and start doing a docu-series about the things I've been through. I'm more than that. So I'm gonna read what I wrote for it, and then we're gonna discuss it. Okay, this is kind of like a little lecture. I'm really in my college era, okay? Anyways, so in 2019, I was distracting myself and ignoring my trauma by drinking and smoking and using substances. I cried almost every day, but I found something to be passionate about. I started working again, but always let my emotions get in the way and ruin things, so I ended up unemployed. I listened to sad music to get me through things, and that was the only time I thought of how I felt on purpose, and I literally wanted to off myself. That's what I wrote for 2019. 2019 feels like a long time ago, and it feels like I don't even know who she is anymore. You know, sometimes I look back at old pictures of myself, things I sent people, even the way I talked. I was such a different person. I was so emotional. I cried all the time. I was going through a lot. I didn't know that was healing. I just thought I'm just self-destructing. But literally I was refusing to heal. You know, there were so many moments that showed me, yeah, bitch, you need to heal. You need to do something about this before it gets worse. But instead, I'll just drink till I black out, and people would have to take care of me, and that is so embarrassing. I would smoke every single day. That's the only thing that would help me feel a little bit better, and even then it didn't solve my problems. Obviously, why would it solve my problems? When you don't confront your problems, nothing changes. You can smoke all the weed you want, you could drink and black out all you want, it just accumulates. Because now I have a smoking problem, now I have a drinking problem, now I'm blacking out and I don't remember what I did yesterday, and that's fucking embarrassing. And that in turn like fucks up my mental health even more. I was doing poppers, I was trying to get rid of that addiction because I was underweight. I was losing so much weight and it was hard for me to gain weight in general. But there was a point in my life in high school where I actually like got to the weight that I wanted. I lost all of that. I felt so empty. I lost like everything. I lost who I was. That girl, I don't even know who she was. I feel like that was the new me, but the new me wasn't like the new and improved. It was literally, who are you and what did you do to me? Because what the fuck, you know, I refuse to heal. You know, it's very hard to confront yourself and be like, oh, these are the things happening in your life right now, because everything that was happening was so recent. I didn't even want to think of it, and when I did think of it, it was just rage and so much emotions behind it that it's like I need to do some substances before I crash out in this motherfucker. Okay, before I hurt myself, I hurt other people, but my go-to was just to always self-destruct and to hurt myself, because I am not trying to hurt other people. Probably on the way I did, because I was a hurt person. There was no progress. If anything, it just kept getting worse. Every single day, it kept getting worse. Every single second, it was getting bad. I didn't know who I was anymore. I lost all my interests, honestly, until one day I found something to be passionate about, and that was cool, but that still didn't help me because I still wasn't addressing all my problems. It was another distraction, but it was a good distraction compared to everything else that I was doing. That was something good, and it led me in the right direction, and it gave me a little bit of motivation to, you know, look within myself. But I wouldn't do that for too long because it's kind of like scary when you have to look at yourself and take in all the mistakes and where you went wrong. It's hard, and I knew that I wasn't being myself because the old me would love a challenge, and the old me had a lot of love. I was really understanding, I was very optimistic. I was the opposite of that year. I did not believe in love. I did not believe in loving myself. I did not have any determination to get through situations. I did not care to, and that's where you go wrong. You need to care. The person in control of your life is you. As many times as other people try to control you, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, at the end of the day, it's you. You make those decisions. The more you don't pay attention to it, the more you're just like, okay, well, you're doing a disservice for yourself. And I was kind of in that mentality where it's kind of like, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? Why do people always leave? And why do I trust people? And I have no trust in myself to allow people in my life because clearly I don't make the right decisions. Okay, these people, I thought I could trust them with all my soul. I couldn't. Okay, I lost friendships. I've lost so many other things. Like at that point, it's kind of like I lost everything plus myself. And I was just like, there's no will to live. There's no motivation here. Where are the things that matter in life? Because I have always been the type of person who, okay, I know money matters in life. Obviously, if I have a lot of money, I'm gonna be happy. But even if I have money and all these other extra shit that people claim is important, it does not change anything. Even since I was little, I was a very like smart kid. I had a lot of wisdom. I was raised on love. To see myself like that, I just knew like, bro, you are acting out of character. This is not even like you. And once you go so far off, it's like, how the fuck do I come back? I made all these bad decisions. I had all these bad habits. How am I gonna fix this? Especially with how I feel. And that's the hard part to confront, because now you're looking at it and you're like, I definitely have some work to do, but you're kind of like lost of how to do it. So you're like, fuck it, I'm going off the deep end. I don't give a fuck. Okay, and that's just how I felt. That was my I don't give a fuck year, when I should have been giving a fuck. But trust the process. Always trust the process. You may feel like this right now, but trust me, it gets better. That's why we're getting into the next year. In 2020, I started to actually work and focusing on things that I'm passionate about and spending more time with family and friends. So I started to experience life more, but I was still emotional and destructive. I would get blacked out drunk, have people take care of me, and I was finally gaining weight after being underweight for so many years. I was always outside and never wanted to be alone. A little bit of progress, but not all the way there. I started working again, which is good because my feelings consumed me in 2019. I didn't want to do anything. Like I said, I didn't give a fuck. In 2020, I started working again as a positive distraction because at this point, it's like, girl, you're not even going to school. Like, you gotta do something with yourself. You have too much free time just to think. I started spiraling. I'm like, no, I need to go to work. Yeah, I started to deep dive into things that I'm passionate about. So we are getting more of the positive things in life, you know what I mean? And it was a great thing that I started hanging out with my family and friends more because I isolated myself in 2019, and it was kind of like, bro, I did not want to go outside as much, but in 2020 I was outside. I was outside almost every fucking day. You will never catch me in my room. I started realizing that my room is like a traumatic space for me. Like, it's not a good place for me to be because so much happened in my room, all these emotions I went through in my room. I was like, no, this is enough. I am getting out. Not only that, I even tried to like redo my room and give it a little makeover so it didn't remind me of my past. That didn't help either because, again, we're not addressing what we went through. It's one thing to be like, okay, I went through that, but like to really take it in and to really like think about it. I didn't do that. Like, I could say, yeah, I went through that shit, but I didn't want to say too much and get vulnerable with it because before in my life I got vulnerable with people and they stabbed me in the back basically. And it's kind of like I was scared to tell people how I really felt about certain things, and I couldn't even tell myself because I'm like, is what I'm feeling wrong? Like, is it wrong of me to feel this way? And you know, of course, with dissociation and everything, I still had my bad habits. It's hard to cut out them bad habits, okay? So I was still drinking. I was drinking a lot, and I'm talking about I could drink 2 bottles in a day with one other person. I will even be drinking myself. Like, bro, this is ridiculous. When I look back at how much I used to drink, I'm like, girl, like that cannot be good at all. And like to live in that state where you're not even like there. I already had dissociation, and then to on top of that add drinking into it. I didn't realize how bad I was making my mental health because when you're already dissociated, you already don't remember shit. You can't even recall the moment you're in at that moment. So when you start drinking and you start drinking like till you black out, you literally will not remember anything. It's not even a normal blackout. It's like, bro, I don't remember shit. The bad habits always caught up to me and always would make me feel bad, and it was like a cycle. Like, okay, yeah, I'm working and I'm doing something positive. I could just keep going. I could just keep doing this instead of all the bad things, but instead I'll work and then drink after work, wake up, go to work and drink again, and I will do that cycle. I will go out, and yes, I was having fun life experiences. It was some good memories. I still wasn't taking care of myself, but I was surrounding myself with people. Even though that doesn't solve all your problems, it helps because you need to take in who the fuck you are, okay? And you need to take in that people love you, people want to be around you. And in this year, I couldn't take in that people love me for real. Like, I was just like, oh, people just want to be around me because they feel bad because of the things that I've been through and yada yada yada. Like, because you don't have that self-love yet. You think people don't actually love you, they don't accept you, they're just doing things, and there has to be a reason why, and it can't be love, because how can you love me? Yeah, and I just never wanted to be alone. Like, just to be alone with my thoughts. Once again, we're not doing that, okay? We do not want to think of it. We would rather ignore it and hope time will heal, because people say time will heal. So I'm just thinking, okay, time is passing, what's happening? I don't see any change. What's going on? I finally gained weight, which was good. I was underweight for so long, but because the beginning of 2020 or the end of 2019, I quit poppers, I smashed my bong for good and said I'm never doing it again. And that was a power move on my part, because when you beat an addiction, you really show yourself, damn, I'm capable of so much more than I thought. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you've never had an addiction before in your life, you will never understand that. It consumes you. It's all you want to do all the fucking time. Even if you feel like it does nothing for you anymore, you're still fucking doing it. That showed me something. I was like, damn, if I could quit this, how many other things can I quit? Obviously, it's easier said than done. I quit one thing. I don't expect myself to be superwoman now and quit everything that's bad for me. That took a while. That was something that was actually astronomical. Now that I look at it, it changed my life that I did that, because it just showed me like you could do so much more and you have so much strength. You just won't confront the thing that you're scared about. Your emotions. Your fucking emotions. Okay? Fast forward. 2021. This is a short paragraph. I was still destructive, but it was the first time in a while where I finally seen myself in a different light. Okay, I felt a little bit more confident and actually had things I liked about myself, and I started to see how certain things were bad habits, but it was hard to change. So once again, it feels like we took a few steps forward, but we're still taking steps back. Like, I just wanted to tell you guys the steps of this, because it's kind of like people think you wake up one day magically and you change. You're a whole new person. It takes fucking time, dedication, drive, all this other shit. And I think I always struggled with my weight. I had eating disorders when I was younger, and it was just hard for my metabolism to really like be stable, because I'm always like under eating or overeating, and it's just like, what is it? I don't fucking know. So I finally gained weight, so I felt better about how I look. Because I was going out more, I was kind of like getting used to the new routine I have from the year previous. I was like, okay, you know, I kind of gained a little bit of confidence in myself, and I was like, okay, you know what, we're getting somewhere. We're kind of cooking. We're slow cooking, but still, have we confronted our issues? I was just feeling better because now I'm around other people. I'm not isolating myself, and now I can make them happy. I feel better because I can make people feel better. I was around my friends and like I was doing all these things, like trying to show them that I love them and I appreciate them for being there for me during my downtimes. That made me feel better. But did I confront my emotions? Once again, no, I didn't. I like to say that I did, but I was running. But I was realizing that certain things are actually bad for me. That is a big step. Acceptance. When you don't deny that things are bad for you, you're kind of like one step closer to being like, okay, I think something needs to change. It was getting better, but it's also not. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I felt good about myself, but not every day. Like, some days I'll wake up and be like, I didn't do enough. I'm not doing anything still. I haven't worked on myself. I didn't heal. But also, I was just like, you know what, like, it's better than it was before. Like, I'm slowly starting to get over things. Like, I think I'm doing a pretty good job now. So it's kind of like a mix. Like, where do we stand? And when you're in the middle, you're just kind of like, okay, well, I don't know if I made progress or not. Like, do I feel better or not? Because I'm a very all or nothing type of person. So if it's in the middle and there's a gray area, I'm just kind of like, okay, so that means no, I didn't feel better. It was some progress made. And like I said, with me smashing that bong, I think I showed myself that there were bad things that I was doing that I needed to stop doing. The whole popper situation, it fucked up my mental health. Not only that, but it fucked up my body image and how I seen myself and how skinny I was. It's okay to be skinny, but I'm talking about, I was like pushing anorexic. I was so skinny, it was concerning. Like, you could see my bones. After I stopped doing that, I gained my weight back. So that gave me a lot of power, where it's like, okay, I did this myself. It took a lot of strength and determination and time, bro. It took a lot of all of that, bro. I didn't take no fucking shortcut to get here. I dealt with who I was before this and after this. And that hard work just showed me like, bro, we gotta work on other things. There's other things that we are leaving in the back of our mind. And we know it, but we're still not confronting it. But we kind of have this feeling where we could do it, but it's gonna take some time. 2021 was just a very conflicting year because I got to see a little glimpse of happiness again, and I'm like, so what now? 2022, the first year where I felt truly happy without substances every day. Okay, I still had episodes where I'll be emotional and had high highs and very low lows, but I was productive and spent more time by myself. to listen to my thoughts. I acknowledged my thoughts but wouldn't know how to heal, but I knew I wanted to heal it. So I was at a weird middle ground. Things got worse because my grandma passed away, and that effed me up so badly. I was making progress. I started realizing I don't really need to smoke every day. And if I don't need to smoke every day, I definitely don't need to drink every day. And when I went to work, I was pushing myself, and what I was doing for work is not like what a lot of women would do, you know? So I was pushing myself constantly every day, and I had to be on a routine, and I had to wake up and be like disciplined, like for real. Nobody talks about how disciplined you have to be if you really want to change your life, if you really want to heal yourself. And I feel like we always like to worry about what's on the outside of us, but bro, the minute you take a look within yourself, everything else follows, okay? You feel better physically. Everything is from within. Yeah, like I said, I actually started to be like, you know what? We are starting to feel a little bit better. How about let's take it up a little bit? You know, let's take it up a notch. Let's feel a lot better. What can we do for this? I started journaling. I started meditating. I started spending time with myself. I started to really take a look in myself and being like, you know what are the issues that we need to confront, because it can't keep going on. So the journaling really helped. The sitting in my room, the place where I was like, I can't be, I did it again, and I was like, you know what, we need to confront these problems. Yes, it'll be cool to vent to people, but I still had like trust issues, so I couldn't do that. And I finally have faith in myself to be like, you know what, I think you are more strong than you let off to be, okay, than you tell yourself you are. I sat there for a lot of nights and I'm like, where did I go wrong? Where did certain situation, when did I started to feel like this? And what can I do about it? The what can I do about it part was the hard part. But little did I know, I was solving it by asking myself that already. Because all it really takes is you sitting down and talking to yourself, evaluating your thoughts, being like, okay, I went through that. I was able to do that first part, to be like, okay, I went through that, but I was never asking myself why. Why do you feel like that? When did you start feeling like that? I didn't want to ask myself the deeper questions because that calls for a deeper answer. I looked into it. I looked into it as much as I can. And I started realizing I was maybe feeling a little bit better. Even though I was now isolating myself once again, and I'm kind of by myself. I have no time to go out because I'm always working and with myself and my thoughts. I was like, you know what? I'm on to something. And the whole reason why I say I had high highs and low lows is because we're healing. This is when we are really healing, okay? The high highs and the low lows. The high highs because it's been a freaking minute since you've been happy. So when you're happy, you're ecstatic. You feel on top of the fucking world. You feel like, yes, we did it. We are working on ourselves. We have made it a long way. The low lows because during the healing process, you confront the things that hurt you and you kind of relive it in a way, and you kind of start to understand yourself a little bit more, or understand other people and why they did certain things, and that shit makes you emotional. That shit makes you emotional as fuck. And sometimes when it gets to that point, you spiral. But I was able to contain myself because I didn't come all this way to just come all this way, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't stop doing all these substances just to start spiraling and doing the same shit that I was doing before. Don't get me wrong, I was still balling up every now and again. Obviously I was still drinking, but I was not doing it excessively, you know? So I just let my feelings flow. I'm a human being. That's the year where I realized I'm a fucking human being. I will feel these things. Life is like a movie. It's a plot. There will be good, peaceful times, but obviously there's a conflict, okay? There's suspense. There's all this other shit. Like, bro, if life wasn't like that, wouldn't be that fucking interesting. When you don't go through shit, I feel like it doesn't build character. If you freaking look at shows, the background character, the character that literally does not go through shit, they're kind of just like the same. Nothing really goes on, like they're just the same. I feel like it builds so much character. You have this character development and you're just like, wow. But obviously don't go out being a menace and causing havoc in people's lives. What I'm saying is you are more proud of yourself when you are able to push through hard times, and especially when it takes a lot of fucking hard work. This was the first year where I confronted it, like actually, like properly, and I was starting to feel a whole lot better. That was also the year where I gained a lot of fucking weight, like a lot of weight. I couldn't like stop myself from gaining weight. Now that I'm gaining weight, I'm gaining way too much weight, and I'm just like not even taking in that I am. I didn't care even, because at the end of the day, it's like, bro, I waited so long for this moment. I don't care if I'm gaining so much weight. And also, it's just happy weight. Like, I'm finally eating again. I'm having like these normal ass routines where I'm not starving myself because I'm sad. Like, bro, I think we're on to something. But yeah, like I said, at the end of that 2022, my grandma passed away, and she is like my rock. Like, she raised me ever since I was a youngin'. Like, my parents are always constantly working. Shout out to them for like putting a roof over our head. Yeah, my grandma was always there for me. It made me really sad because during all these years I was talking to you guys about me just trying to figure myself out, I didn't spend as much time with her as I wanted to. So it just made me really sad, and it threw me off the edge. But I knew I couldn't go back into my old ways. I told myself I have to feel this through. It's actually crazy because I fixed myself and started doing all these things at a right time, because she passed away and I was going about it so much differently than me in 2019 would. If this happened in 2019, I will probably never recover. I'm not gonna say never recover, but it will take me years and years and years to recover the self-destruction I was gonna do to myself. But because it happened in 2022, I was already disciplined enough to know that certain things are not gonna fly. Things will hurt in life, things will make you sad, you'll have regrets, you'll feel guilty, but you cannot fuck this up. All this growth that you tried to have. And don't get me wrong, I still obviously did not know how to solve this. Grief is like a whole different ball game. Like, I was not feeling good at all. Even if I thought of my grandma, I was just like, bro, like, I would want to cry, but I will ignore it. Once again, it's kind of just like, bro, at that point of my life, I was like, I already did so much work to heal. I don't want to lose my shit right now, so I'm gonna distract myself. Even though I knew what exactly I had to do, I had to think about it, I couldn't. It was too painful. Let's just say I was real emotional. 2023, last year, the year where I put myself first. I gave myself a lot of patience and time to work through things, spent more time with family because those are my values, and I forgot about them when I was depressed. I was there for my family, and that helped me feel better in return. The love of my family grew because we realized life is too short, and with their love I was able to love myself more and feel some type of closeness. Grief and dissociation is what I dealt with for most of the year, but I knew I had to work through my emotions and trauma, so I let myself think of it and feel it. I felt lonely because I knew I had to be alone in order to listen to what I needed for myself. It was a selfish year because I actually cared about being on this earth for once. Even signed up for college, and that was something that I was scared of. Not afraid to miss out because I'm actually focusing on myself. So I truly grew up this year. 2023, that was just last year, right? I was dealing with grief, like I said. It was hard. It was a bitch. Like, on the outside, it looked like I was doing a little bit better. Trust me, when my grandma first passed away, I couldn't hold it together. I cried as much as I felt like I needed to let myself feel things. I tried to do that, and still, it still hurt. So I was kind of at a place where I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I'm still working, I'm still going strong, like, and every single time that I would think of her at work, I would stop myself. But there was this one day where it clicked, and I'm like, bro, you told yourself you had to think through feelings, even if it makes you feel sad. Crying a few times about it doesn't mean you're gonna get over it. Like, you really have to sit there, accept it, because I feel like I couldn't accept it. It was so hard to accept. My dissociation got super bad that year too. That was another thing. I realized that it got bad, and I was like, I'm gonna fix that. I went out of my way to, like, every time that I felt dissociated, I would tell myself, okay, you're feeling like this. So I would notify myself that I was feeling like that, and I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's look at our surroundings. Okay, what is going on right now? Tell yourself what's happening right now. And that actually helped me so much. Like, just to be able to sit there and coach myself and talk myself through little situations like that, I was like, okay, we're on the right path still. Okay, just because we had this moment where we felt so fucking sad, it does not mean that we went back to square one. Thank God. I spent a lot of time with my family because I feel like this time was when we really depended on each other. And when I was talking about spending time with my family for the previous years, I mostly spent time with my cousins because I feel like I fell off with them and whatever, and it was harder to feel some type of closeness with the adults, okay? But it was harder because it's kind of like, they don't like getting vulnerable. Where the fuck do you think we got that from? So we wouldn't get vulnerable, but we will get vulnerable with each other, like the cousins. It's easier that way. But getting vulnerable with the adults, it was hard. But this year, everyone was vulnerable. Everyone said what they had to say. They cried. We talked about everything. We talked about mental health. We talked about the problems we're having in our lives. We're talking about all the things we regret, all the guilt that we have, everything was put on the table. The adults, the cousins, everybody. My grandma was always the glue to the family. And that was still an existing fact when she passed away, because even when she passed away, it still brought us together. And we had to look within ourselves. You know, we were all healing. Last year was a year of closeness for my family. And I feel like ever since I was younger, you know, obviously I went through some shit that was traumatic, and life is not always perfect. And you know, my family, they were young too, so the things they were doing around me and the things that I seen might not have always been what was ideal. We always had a close-knit family, and we were always riding for each other. We were all going our separate ways and kind of falling apart. But 2023, we got back together, and because their love is so strong, and because now I can accept it, I was giving love, I was getting shown love, and I think that was just necessary because it changed everything. Because when you're feeling down and you have that love to go to, you don't need to go to substances, you don't need to go to drinking or smoking. You know, I can't speak for everyone, because some people, like, they're so used to that that's just what they have to do regardless if they have love or not. I was in this place where I was already healing myself. I was like, this is the love I needed to be shown, and I could accept it, which really means I'm starting to like myself. Just being around them and being able to accept love, it's kind of like, wow, like, I could see why you would love me for that. I could see why you would think that of me. Like, I could see why you like being around me. And that was a whole new switch in my mind where it's like, bro, I don't feel like this often. I always feel like the odd one out. I always feel like people don't appreciate me and people don't like me and whatever. Because I was also by myself the year before that, really like going through my emotion, I was like not dependent on anybody's love. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, okay, you either love me or you don't. The year before that was the year where I was like, you know what, people will show me how it is, and when they do, I'll just accept it. I actually wanted to be on this earth for once in my life, and it's crazy because people take grieving so differently. Like, if this was me in 2019, I would have wanted to off myself. There's no type of motivation or drive. To see my grandma passing away and how much it affected everybody, how hurt we all are still to this day affected by it, I was like, I don't want to die. But it's not only because of that, it's because I actually made it so far. I actually am starting to feel better. I actually want to fucking be here. As crazy as it sounds and as hard as it gets, I actually don't mind being here. And me wanting to be here, that also changed my life, obviously. Let's talk about the last part of this, where I'm like, I was not scared to miss out on things because I was focusing on myself. Like I said, it was a selfish year, and there's nothing wrong in that. You don't owe people like your life. Like, yes, be there for people, you know, don't forget about them. But at the end of the day, if you need time to work on yourself, you do not have to explain to anybody. You could just tell them, okay, yeah, like, I'm working on myself. Like, obviously don't make them feel like you're ghosting them, but at the end of the day, I should be allowed to do that. My problem before was I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna miss out on all the fun. That's why I was like getting blacked out drunk. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, like I'm coming to anything you guys are asking me to come to. I did not even give myself the time of the day. I gave other people my time of the day. And then when I started working on myself, I realized, okay, what other people do is their business, right? I used to be there. I have my own healing journey, and if there are certain things that I don't agree with doing anymore, drinking every fucking day or just uncomfortable situations I don't want to be in, like I am fine with sitting that out. I don't care. I like to have genuine time with people, and that's why I realized I don't really like sit around and chill with people anymore, because it's like everyone wants to do the next big thing. It's fine to want to have fun. There's nothing wrong with having fun, but once upon a time anything we did was fun because it was genuine. It was like a genuine connection where it's kind of like, okay, we could sit here and talk all night, it's still gonna be fun. When you grow up and the expectations people have now that they're on social media and they're scrolling, they're seeing other people grow up and going to the club and doing all these other fucking things, people want to live that reality too. And for me, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about any of those things. I could care less about a party. I could care less about the club. I just want to fucking spend time with people who actually care. I want to have deep conversation. I want to like go to the arcade, go bowling, have other experiences other than just partying. Because you know what? I've did that ever since I was a high school kid. I was already young. I got tired of it. I grew out of it. Quite frankly, it's not good for me. Quite frankly, blacking out is not all that. You don't need to get drunk every weekend to prove that you're a lit and great person having the best time of your lives. I started saying no to a lot of things. If I don't want to fucking do it, it's a no. If I'm feeling too tired, it's a no. If I'm working on myself, it's a no. I started to prioritize myself first, and I realized I started to have a lot of boundaries and actual self-respect. I actually trusted myself in my decision. Like, whoever I decide to have around in my life, I trust myself with that decision. I'm not like, oh yeah, like I'm worried about what other people think about it. No, I trust myself with this decision because you know why? I'm the healed version of me. I'm not who I was before. Certain things that I accepted before just won't fly right now. So just know if I accept anything right now, it's because it's not anything that's gonna fuck me up, and I trust myself in that decision. Okay, and that says a lot too, to trust yourself in making decisions in your life because you actually love yourself now. Yeah, that hits different. I don't care about what society will think of me, what social media will think of me, what certain people in my life will think about what I want to do with myself. I don't care if you think I'm boring. I don't care if you think that I changed. That's the point. I changed. Why would you want me to be 2019 me who wants to die instead of me now who has a will to live and I have motivation, trust in myself? And yeah, like if I give you another chance, it's because the healed me also sees that you have been healing yourself. I have faith in myself, so I don't really need to explain myself to anybody. It is what it is, and I don't feel bad for saying no, as long as I'm not a fucking asshole about it. Let's go to 2024. We are only 3 months in, but I would just have to say this because the change is so astronomical that I definitely feel like this year is my year. I don't even be saying shit like that. Oh, new year, new me. This is my fucking year. Like, bro, no. We feel like that. Okay, 2024. The most love and confidence I've ever had in myself. Letting go of the past and moving on. I stopped overthinking and my anxiety feels like it doesn't exist. I'm happy about myself and my progress. I'm happy about everything I have in life. I'm appreciative and thinking of the future. I have trust in people again. I'm communicating with people a lot more and not being scared to have new friends. I'm not afraid to say out loud that I'm happy because nothing can ruin how far I came. My dissociation got better. My relationships got better. I'm finally proud of myself and feel like I'm making my family proud, especially my grandma. And I'm not in survival mode anymore, but I'm in my feminine energy. All of the traits I lost during my depression is coming back. I'm motivated, I'm disciplined, I'm dependable, I'm loving, and I'm being myself more. I barely smoke or drink, and if I do, it's not to take the pain away. It's actually just from pure happiness. And I found something I'm passionate about and can do for the rest of my life. I'm allowing people to love me, and I'm showing myself every day that I'm not who I used to be. So this is just crazy to me because we're only 3 months in and I can see a total change within myself. I can think about my grandma without literally wanting to break down and feeling guilty and feeling like, oh, I can't be happy because she's not here, so it's just gonna make me feel guilty if I'm happy, you know. I accepted her death and I realized that she would not want me to be sad either. And you know, the year before, honestly, my faith grew in 2023. That's really what happened. So in 2024, not only did my faith in God became evident, my faith in myself, my faith in my family, my faith in my relationships, my faith in everything spiked. I have never felt like this in my life. Maybe when I was younger, because no problems. Even now when the problems are coming, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Not that I don't give a fuck where it's like, okay, that's bad. I don't give a fuck to the point where it's like, okay, you're not gonna ruin my day today. Okay, maybe you're gonna ruin my day a little bit, but you're not gonna ruin my progress. You're not gonna ruin how far I made it, and you're not gonna ruin my overall mental health, my well-being. That's not happening. I feel like regardless of how stressed I am, I keep proving to myself that I am way more than my negative emotions. I can't tell you how long it's been since I stopped overthinking. Again, I did not just wake up one day and that happened. Gradually, because I grew with myself, I healed, I started to love myself and trust myself more. I was like, okay, you know what? Why are we overthinking? The minute I start to have a bad thought, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I got shit to do and I'm doing something. And I know it sounds like a distraction, but genuinely, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever happens, I have enough faith in God to be like, I will show you eventually what you would have to do, and if this situation is true. Me sitting here overthinking will not change a damn thing. It will just put me back into the state that I was years ago in 2019. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person like ever again. And beyond just like, okay, I feel a little bit better, I want to feel extremely better. The fact that I started college too definitely helped because I was hiding from my fears. Just signing up for college really showed, bro, I'm getting that drive back. I'm getting who I am back because I always loved a challenge. College is a fucking challenge. I've been doing way better than I thought. I have exceeded my expectations, honestly. But obviously now I have different expectations because I could see how much I went through. So the bar is getting higher. And that goes for everything in my life. The bar is just getting higher for everything. Like, bro, if you want to be in my life, the bar is high now. Okay? You can't just be doing whatever the fuck. Okay? You will actually have to show me that you are a genuine person. You are healing. You are trying to better yourself. You actually care about me, because if you don't care about me, I don't want you in my life and I'm not gonna dedicate my time to you. Why would I do that? I prioritize the people who prioritize me. So if it's kind of like you seem iffy and you're not respecting me or like taking in what I want or what I'm uncomfortable with or just whatever it is, like I said, I have more self-respect now, so you're gonna have to do better if you want to be in my life. I just started to realize I was getting treated like shit at certain points of my life where it's kind of like, you didn't really have to do me like that, and you know, you start taking in how certain people were treating you and you thought it was love and like respect, because it's kind of like at that moment you didn't have love for yourself. Sometimes people do some weird things that are questionable and you're kind of like, oh, now that I love myself, that did not seem right. Like, that energy was not right to me. Like I said, that paragraph said everything. I'm just proud of myself and how far I came, and honestly I dreamt of this day, and it took years. It took years, 2019 to 2024. And 2019 was not even the first time that I started feeling depressed and everything was going downhill. Like, things were already bad. Like, I would say from when I was in grade 8, years before 2019, bros. And to be able to change, wow. I just wanted to get on here. I don't want to make this too long. It's already long. But I just wanted to tell you that these things take time. People say time will heal, but you will heal because you helped yourself. You need to help yourself, man. Even if you go to therapy and you refuse to help yourself, it's kind of like, bro, how's that gonna work? You have to put in the work. You're gonna have to want it, okay? You have to learn how to forgive people. You have to learn how to forgive yourself. You have to do so many things in this process, and you're gonna find that it's gonna be worth it. But if you sit here and you do nothing today, You're getting in the way of your own growth and happiness, even if it takes baby steps. That's what was happening at first. Baby steps, as you can see. When I was telling you like the breakdown of every fucking year, not every year had an astronomical change. Like, bro, there were years where I was still doing the same shit. I say this to say, that's why it's important to take your little steps, because your little steps will accumulate, and one day you're gonna feel better. The happier I got, the more things fell into place, the more better I feel about myself physically as well. I love to work on myself on the inside because I want to be remembered for the type of person I am, not for how I look. That shit does not fucking matter, and it's like a grain of salt. There's so many beautiful people in this world, but how many people are good people? You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people who are good people, sadly. So you need to work on yourself. You gotta see within. You gotta see, what are the things I need to work on? What are the traumas that are holding me back and making me unable to move forward? Like, you really have to sit there and have these hard conversations with yourself. And it's a mix of everything. Like I said, there were so many different things that I did throughout the years to figure out what was right for me. You're gonna have to figure out what's right for you. What's right for me will not always be right for you. Figure that shit out. I just want to hope everybody the best, because once you see the power you hold, it's kind of like, okay, let's get to it. Every single day now, I'm doing things to better my life because I deserve it. Back in the day, I would never think I deserve it. I would always do things for other people because I thought they deserved it, but just leave myself out. But what that showed other people was, why would I do anything for you when you don't even do anything for yourself? I also found that the more I love myself, the more genuine love I have. I don't surround myself with people who I feel like are kind of iffy. I know I can treat you 10 times better than you can treat me, but first you gotta show me if you can treat me good. I think that's just been amazing, because lately, the love I have in my life, I've never felt this shit before. Yeah, bro, that's just what I wanted to say to you guys. That has been my mental health journey throughout the years, and I just wanted to let you guys know, because things do get better. I promise it does. But I also want you to know, it's not gonna work if you don't want to work. You can't be stubborn with this. This is your life. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.